Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Giddings, and I am a lieutenant in the United States Coast Guard. My mission today is to brief you all on my background, my job, and what literacy has done for me and how I use it in my everyday life. So a little bit on my background. So I've been in the Coast Guard for 15 years now. I have served on both active duty and a reserve status. I have been an enlisted member and an officer. I have served as a government civilian as well as a merchant mariner aboard tankers on the open oceans. So for background, I started out in the military as the lowest ranking enlisted member as a non-rate at the age of 21. I first tried my hand at college at the age of 19 and quickly came to realize that it wasn't for me at that time. So I enlisted in the Coast Guard. I went to boot camp, spent 8 weeks there, and then after 8 weeks, I went to my first unit, Port Security Unit 311 in Los Angeles, California. From there, I made my way up to the enlisted ranks. I made it all the way up to E6, which is Petty Officer First Class, in 5 years. And during that time, I was a boat captain, and we deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. While in Cuba, I was responsible for providing 24/7 waterside security for the base. I was the captain of a 32-foot transportable port security boat, which was equipped with one 50 cal machine gun and two M240 Bravos. Upon returning home from deployment, I packed up my things and decided to travel the world for a year. The Coast Guard provided me that opportunity and I took it. So while on my travels, I submitted an application for the California Maritime Academy, which I was accepted to while I was on vacation in Panama. So upon returning home, I went to school at the ripe age of 25 years old and went into full reserve status with the Coast Guard. And I spent 3.5 years studying at the California Maritime Academy on studying marine transportation, and essentially it was how to be a professional mariner. And after 3.5 years, I graduated and I got hired by Chevron Shipping Company. Chevron put me on one of their ships, the Oregon Voyager, where I sailed for 3.5 months. Upon returning home from there, I was simultaneously accepted into the Direct Commission Program for the Coast Guard Officer Corps. My first unit as an officer was the Coast Guard Cutter Maple. It's a buoy tender that was responsible for maintaining the marine transportation system for the United States. So any buoy you see on the water, blue, green, red, as long as it was a federal aid, the Coast Guard was responsible for maintaining it. So I spent 2.5 years serving as both a deck watch officer and then fleeting up to the operations officer. I was ultimately responsible for executing and planning daily operations, hurricane response missions, training events. I planned a joint training exercise to Greenland. So a lot of fun stuff happened on that ship. I was then transferred to the District 7 in Miami, where I served as the ATON Section Chief. So ATON, Aids and Navigation. ATON Section Chief there. I had 7 cutters under me, as well as 12 Aids and Navigation team units. So big thing down in D7, or D7 is Florida, as you guys know, is hurricanes. So any hurricane that would come through, whether it was in the Panhandle or Miami or wherever, I was helping out with executing operations and setting on where to send people. Fast forwarding to now, I'm currently stationed at Coast Guard headquarters in Washington, D.C. I am responsible for national policy development and implementation, encompassing 140 aids and navigation field units, 3,000 technicians, and 45,000 aids and navigation along 25,000 miles of U.S. waters and 350 major ports. So ultimately, I use literacy every single day of my job, and it encompasses, writing policies that affect the U.S. marine transportation system and essentially all mariners on the water. I've drafted legislative change proposals or policy letters, awards, manuals, instructions. I might be hired on for speaking engagements or, hosting seminars or putting on conferences. For example, this year I'm hosting a AIDS and Navigation senior leader conference here at headquarters. So we're bringing in 40 people across the United States to conduct training, discussion leads. So that's speaking, writing the policy for that. I conduct online training seminars, so we'll bring in people from all across the United States to put on, trainings or conduct, informational briefings on, policy updates. And then listening is having the ability to listen, to follow orders, follow instructions, reassuring your supervisor that you're capable of executing the directions in order to accomplish the mission. So, literacy is used in a multitude of facets of my job. And so, the important thing is to realize that, I came from a place that didn't have much going on. I was young, and I over the last 15 years, I've gradually increased in my responsibility, increased in my engagement, increased in my rank. And so the Coast Guard has provided me the opportunity to do so. So that's a little bit about my background. Thank you, and hope you guys all have a great day.